Mean Miles? Lizzy looked up at me, her mascara brush held in mid-air. You've spoken to him? Yeah, he was on the trail this morning when I was out for my run. Now, that is a man even I could imagine doing extremely rude things with, Lizzy giggled. He looks like a movie star. Is he? No, he's a lawyer. Wow, you two obviously got to know each other quite well this morning. He was sitting by himself when I went into the canteen at lunchtime. So, being the friendly, welcoming person I am, I went to sit with him. 2 minutes later, he picked up his tray and left. Lizzy frowned. So much for my pulling tactics, eh? I thought you were devoted to your husband, I said. You know I am, but there's no harm in window shopping occasionally, even if you can't buy the product. He looks far too fit to be in here. Why is he? He says he comes back every year to make sure he doesn't relapse. This is my 6th time here, so I totally understand. I like it here because everyone is so friendly and you're never short of someone to talk to, not like at home. Doesn't your husband miss you? Oh, he's hardly ever at home either. And now that the children have gone, well. Anyway, if you're sure you won't come, I'd better be off. How do I look in these jeans? She asked, standing up and giving me a twirl. I couldn't even get them to do up when I arrived a few weeks ago. And please don't lie, just say it how it is. I looked at her trim figure, with a narrow waist and pert little butt that any 25-year-old would be proud of, let alone a woman of 48. Seriously, Lizzy, you look just great. You sure? My husband hates me in jeans, says I have a jelly belly. You don't, I swear. Now, you go off and have a great evening, okay? Thanks, Electra. See you later. As Lizzy left the room in a cloud of her expensive perfume, I suddenly realized that she wasn't just here to lose weight. She was here because she was lonely. I pulled the chair out by my desk, retrieved the notepaper, envelopes, and pens from the drawer, and began my apology letters. Dear Maya, I am doing well here. I have been off the shit for 3 weeks and going to AA meetings every day. Being in here has given me time to think about how badly I've behaved to you in the past month? Year? I thought to myself. Year. And especially in Rio. I can see now that you were only trying to help me. If it wasn't for you calling Mariam that night, I literally wouldn't be here anymore. I hope you can forgive me, and I look forward to seeing you in June. Thanks again. Love, Electra. As I folded the letter and stuck it in an envelope, I wished that I could simply email her, because God only knew how long my note would take to get to Rio. But Margot, the AA leader, had said it was better if it was written, because letters were more meaningful. Maybe I'd send Maya an email anyway, to tell her the letter was on its way. Or if she was to come visit next week, I could give it to her then. I addressed the envelope and stuck it in my drawer. Then I wrote to Ma, using mainly the same words but altering it a little to suit. I had a sudden urge to write, I love you, at the bottom. I couldn't even remember whether I had ever said those words to her. Well, I did love her, I realized, a whole lot. She was the kindest person I'd ever met, and she had put up with me and my behavior for a long time, so I finished the letter with words to that effect. Feeling suddenly tearful, I thought about Atlantis and how safe I'd felt there and how much I'd always wanted to go back when I'd been away at school because it was home. Now I need to find my own, I muttered, a tear splashing onto the envelope as I wrote Ma's name and address on the front. I was feeling low now, which wasn't good, so I put the paper and pens away, stretched, and decided to go outside and get some air. Just down the corridor there was a kitchenette with coffee, tea, and cookies, so I fixed myself a ginger tea. The zing as it went down my throat was the nearest I could get to a hit these days, then wandered outside. The night was noticeably cooler, and I could smell the scent of the large saguaro flowers that grew on the cacti in the garden. The sky was just incredible, inky black and wide open above me. As always when I looked up to the stars, I searched for the 7 sisters, and there they were, twinkling away. As usual, I counted 6. It was only very rarely I got to see the 7th. Pa had once told me that some cultures said that Electra, i.e. me, was a lost sister of the Pleiades. He'd even given me an old black and white print of a scene from a ballet called Electra, or the Lost Pleiad, that had been on once in London. I walked towards the bench that sat amid the pretty serenity garden, full of herbs nestled amongst the bright flowers, which gave off a delicate scent. A little fountain played soothingly in the background, and I closed my eyes and thought about how I'd always felt like the lost sister out of the 6 of us, even though Pa had never found the 7th. Hi there, a voice said from the bench on the other side of the garden. I opened my eyes, and as they readjusted to the low lighting, I saw it was Miles, smoking a cigarette. Hi, am I disturbing you? I asked him across the fountain. No. To be honest, I could use some company. He stood up from his bench and walked over to mine. if that's okay. Sitting down as I was, he rose above me and I had to crane my neck to make eye contact. Yeah, take a seat, I said. He sat down next to me. Want one? He offered me the packet from the pocket in his shirt. No thanks. It's one addiction I've never started and I don't want to come out of here with a new one. For me, it was the first of many, and the one I've fallen back on as the rest aren't available, he said, as he dragged on the cigarette and stubbed it out with his foot. A few years ago, around this time of night in New York, I'd have been out at a bar, hearing the clink of ice going into that glass and the gray goose pouring over it like a mountain stream. That sure is poetic, I chuckled. Me and the goose were great pals as well. Now it's some dried ginger in hot water. I haven't been to that bar in about 5 years now, he said, as he lit another cigarette. My old dealer probably still hangs out there. How long were you on all the stuff? I did my first line 19 years ago at Harvard. Wow. You went to Harvard? You must be real smart.